I'm going to be doing just a little bit of an energy report, and I want to do some cards I just got too. So I'm going to just kind of talk a little bit about this week's energy and where I kind of see it leading us. And I'm just going to do like kind of a little bit of an energy report. So give me a moment to find this feed and to pull it up and to share it out. I'm going to be probably just using YouTube for the next couple of weeks too. So if you're trying to follow my videos, this is the best place to find them. All right, I just got some children's spirit animal cards that I kind of want to play with today and try out. They look pretty basic, but they're probably really good for kind of the heart chakra and inner child healing work that we're doing. So I'm kind of excited to try them. So just give me one moment to get set up. If you're just finding me, take a second to share this feed out too. I know that it can be kind of a hassle with YouTube because after the video is done, it takes a few minutes to load. I've seen where it could take maybe even up to an hour. So people click on the video and it doesn't load until it's kind of, you know, finished being processed on the site. But still give this a share out. Okay, and I'm doing the same right now. All right, it's been giving me a moment to kind of take a step back too. I always like that. I tend to do that a lot anyways. Sometimes I need a second, right, to kind of adjust to things that are going on. And it's giving me kind of some space to do some growing right now. I think that's kind of where everyone's at too. So I kind of want to just talk about my perspective about kind of things that have been going on. I know, right? Fun times to be doing videos. I was trying to explain that I have a really hard job sometimes because I'm being expected to uplift the collective. And as light workers, a lot of you guys are seeing that sometimes, you know, people are like, you're really negative if you're sharing things going on, right? Don't be negative. So I'm supposed to do this video, but I'm not allowed to talk about anything negative. And that's kind of funny because I know a lot of people are actually quarantined into their houses right now. We kind of have a lot going on with the collective, right? And so it can be kind of tricky to do these videos when we're going through such times of change, we'll just say. So we definitely have kind of a lot going on with the collective. So I've been kind of like taking a step back anyway, because I know it's kind of affecting, you know, a lot of people right now, definitely, with whether people are quarantined or they have kids out of school or, you know, just kind of their flow being interrupted. And, you know, we can look at, you know, these series of events that are kind of going on throughout the collective, and we can kind of see that. I think that we're just seeing more and more of what's kind of going on with the collective too, but it's kind of affecting people more and more. And this is the awakening that is occurring. And we know that spiritual awakening can get messy, right? And, you know, I just want to bring it to everyone's attention because there's a lot of fear propaganda going on. I'm sure if I turn on the news, they're preparing you for, you know, awful situations. And, you know, they've always been here, the media, and sharing, you know, murders and awful stuff. And this is kind of going on wrong with the world. And actually, a lot of people there are a lot of people that are sick, even aside from coronavirus on this planet. There's been a lot of people that are sick. And we can see that with some of these statistics that I'm seeing anyways. These people are getting sick, but they're getting better. And this can be something that could come down to this awakening, I swear, right? It really could. I'm not really sure. You know, people have different lessons and different experiences, so everyone kind of is being given different things. But when I look at the large scale effects of what's happening with the collective and what's also happening at the same time with some of these energies, I think that could be expected, that we're seeing that, you know, these energies can actually break down our DNA. And we're meant to, I guess, mutate, right, into a different type of organism. And so we can tell that these are cosmic rays with, you know, really, we'll say, highly charged particles of energy and light that are hitting this planet. And, you know, it's affecting all life, but all of consciousness as well. We're seeing this huge expansion in consciousness. And, you know, I think that we have kind of a lot going on in one place, and we're realizing how interconnected we are kind of at the same time. And I feel that there's enough people that are at a place where we're kind of rethinking how we want to be living during this time. There was already a huge system failure long before this, where maybe you guys were some of these people that have found out on your path that the government isn't going to save anyone, the doctors aren't, they're not really doing a lot for humanity. And I think that's part of our path as a light worker as well. I know people are kind of seeing different things with the things that are unfolding in different perspectives, but it's really important that we're also keeping a positive mindset. That's a huge part of, also making this expansion in consciousness, that we need to kind of rewire the way we're seeing things and thinking about things as well. So, this is all kind of about perspective, but I think it's really important that we're, number one, keeping a positive mindset. Hopefully this is motivating people. It really did me. Like, I'm not ready. Wait a minute, right? I'm not ready. Hold on a second. This is meant to motivate people also on a lot of levels. So, the best way we can be using this space that humanity has entered into, because we're in kind of a weird place with a lot of the planet quarantine, is we can be working on ourselves fully. So a lot of people are going to go through huge, we'll say, shifts in a lot of things, whether people have been sent home for work or they're just, expected to be now spending more time with their kids. A lot of things have been shaking up during this time, and I would for sure expect what we're going through to kind of be reflected in the external state as well. So we can see that a lot of people are feeling like the world's getting kind of chaotic, right? That's part of this awakening, though, literally. And a lot of people are realizing that maybe it's a good time to meditate, right? To go within. So we are going through some astrological shifts that hopefully will bring balance to this dynamic, I'm hoping, right? We'll see. But, I'm turning more and more to astrology as I'm kind of processing these energies and kind of what's going on, because they can probably give us a better indication of what's really happening on the planet, as opposed to like the mainstream media and things like that. All right, so we have Venus is shifting into Gemini this week. A lot of people can feel these shifts too, more and more, as we'll say planets are moving around and going through their own journeys. A lot of you guys are becoming more and more sensitive to some of these, we'll say, transits. All right, so Venus rules love and our finances. I feel like literally everyone just got put into a state of panic in a lot of places, where people suddenly begin to panic, like, I don't have I don't know, this and this and this for the apocalypse. I might need more food, right? And it really put people in a lack mindset very fast with some of the things that began to, we'll say, restructure and crumble to some people's perspectives, right? But we're meant to actually be in more and more of a state of abundance, because I feel like, there are forces trying to put this planet into, we'll say, a negative place financially. But actually, as we're going up in frequency, we're meant to be tuning into what we need easier, instant manifestation, right? That doesn't mean that we don't have to put the work in, but things are meant to like align easier and easier, and we're meant to be tapping into and living in a state of true abundance. I believe that as we're going through this shift in consciousness, that the externals, such as any of these systems, we'll put the government on that list, they're going to have to evolve and transform and change too, and become, service of everyone else, or we won't have a need for these things. So we can see that with a lot of this restructuring. I feel a lot of like service of self corporations and companies and things like that we're on the shutdown list, and we're going to see kind of like this transformation of the material very rapidly, because suddenly people are not focused on the material, they're focused right on maybe like their health and the basic things that they need. And a lot of people are kind of closed inside, and they're not going to be spending money as consumers in the same type of way. And I think this could have a really crazy kind of effect, but it's meant to bring us where we need to be with this spiritual awakening, as in setting aside the material, right? And I was talking about how a lot of people are still trying to use the material to find that fulfillment, thinking if they could, pay off this or attain this or live like this, they would be happier people. And then a lot of people kind of come up dissatisfied. So we do have Venus is entering into Gemini. Venus rules love and finances. Gemini is really a symbol for twin flame energy as well, right? Like twins, things like that. So literally, I think this is going to be really good after we've had a lot of retrogrades, we'll just say lately, right? We've had a lot of retrogrades the past couple of years, it feels like. most notably, Mercury retrograde was kind of rough on a lot of people, the last one. So I feel that this week's energy will bring a lot of healing for the throat chakra, communications, relationships. So this week's energy is really, really good for healing, like things going wrong in a relationship. If you just want to come into more alignment, working on your relationship, opening up to better communication, things like that. All right, we have Saturday. We have a 4-4 porthole gateway, right? And we also have some powerful alignment with Pluto and Saturn. I believe that these two planets alone pretty much just pulled down the entire system as we know it, right? In structure of the matrix, just these two planets colliding. And so we do have, you know, a lot kind of happening with some of the same planets that are here kind of assisting us with what we have going on, you know, with the collective and things like that. You know, we're seeing the shadow side of humanity a lot of sometimes part of this year, right? We're seeing a lot of the shadow as well. We're just finishing up our tour of the underworld, and I think we can really see that as a lot of people are suddenly like on these conspiracy theories that have been around like 10 years. Right? They're all of a sudden they're getting life, and this is happening behind the scenes, and this is happening, and there's a lot of kind of things like that. And you know, your guess is as good as mine if these things are actually happening. But I think what is important is that these things are now at this point, weeks later, weeks into the coronavirus kind of things and posts going around and news circulating. I think these things serve as a distraction. And yeah, I know this is an interactive universe, and it's making me really think about like reality as we know it, how this matrix works, the holographic reality, what we focus on, we draw more of to us. And so I know a lot of people think they're trying to like wake up the masses. You're never going to do that with fear-based things, negative things, posts about, right? Like, you know, we're talking, I see posts everywhere about a lot of really negative kind of things that must be happening behind the scenes. These aren't things that are really going to help enlighten humanity. I mean, I know a lot of people are just kind of figuring out that the world isn't as it seems. Yes, I believe we have negative extraterrestrials that have influenced all of consciousness. We can't play the victim about this stuff. This was stuff that we signed up for and agreed to kind of do. We've been back and forth between these kind of galactic control dramas for a really long time, and this is where we liberate from these things. I believe that there is an actual galactic war and battle happening in America now, right? What are the odds of that? Yes, I believe that people are in a war zone and they don't even realize it. We can see that in California, in New York, in some of these more hotspot areas that they have less to do with coronavirus and more to do with military kind of things going on. I do have some amazing questions to some of these conspiracy theorists about, well then, you know, if the government is playing hero now and they're cleaning out the inner earth and all of these tunnels, why have all of these underground tunnel systems formerly been American military bases that only military had access to, right? So they're freeing humans from the inner earth, apparently, and this is why we're really all locked inside. A lot of people will tell you during this time. Well, then I would love to know why this is kind of coming about. I believe that, yes, that there have been negative extraterrestrials that at one point in time would have been more evolved than humanity and could have easily used their technology and understanding to enslave the planet. I think we can see a lot of evidence of this in past places. We've had a lot of our history covered up, destroyed, right? And literally, it's just like, you know, there's such a conspiracy. The real conspiracy is to keep humanity in a third dimensional perspective and to keep everyone kind of, you know, happy and content with where they're at, you know, at this lower state of consciousness while kind of hiding everything kind of going on from humanity. And so I really do believe that, yes, we have a lot of, we'll say, manipulation that has occurred in the past and kind of going on now that, you know, would your government really tell you if there was a galactic battle that had been, you know, happening on this planet now? No, because we can see evidence of these battles from the past, right? We can see actual galactic wars and how maybe some of these battles are centered around our planet here during this time. I will just say there's a lot of military that has an interest in some of these areas where a lot of people are being locked down. And, you know, I would love to ask some further questions, right, about some of the things that are happening in plain sight. So, you know, when we see tanks rolling down suburban areas and fires occurring underground and this kind of stuff, you know, kind of just delves for people to kind of be asking some deeper questions, right? So we have a lot of that kind of stuff going on. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But I think what is really important is that we have this spiritual awakening going on, and we each have our own spiritual path. And, you know, we're only responsible for ourselves during this time as well, right? Literally, that it's our responsibility to make sure that we ascend this life. So it's really important that we're not getting distracted. If you guys are getting upset by some of these things happening in the collective, it's meant to inspire you. The world's going to get worse and worse, I'm assuming. As, you know, there will be groups of people getting better and better, but some of the things in the collective could get worse and worse as we're proceeding forward. And that's just an indication that we are completing our lessons here, and that we're wrapping up a lot, and different people need different things. So sometimes people have these hard lessons, and they're meant to lead them somewhere really positive spiritually. And like I said, this is kind of a wake-up call for a lot of humanity as well. So a lot of people aren't seeing the same perspective. We do have a lot of people kind of in fear right now and worried and scared they're going to get sick and things like that. And that none of that even resonates with me at all. I think that a lot of this is, like I said, effects from the energies, and people got really upset with me when I said that. But this is my perspective, and I know that from going through this path, right? Because I got torn up on a physical level as well, trying to go through some of these higher frequency energies. You guys know that I'm in kind of a lot of high energy kind of places, and yes, that can have an effect like that on our body if we're not at a really pure place. And you know, we can really talk about that, how we have a lot more work to do. But what about the people that are, you know, just kind of doing the same old thing and aren't really working on changing anything? They're going to start to have a really hard time in some of these energies. That's why it's really important that if you guys are resonating with this kind of spiritual stuff, you probably are a light worker, and that's going to become more apparent in the next few months. If some of you guys don't know that, or haven't really gotten on a mission, or don't know what to do with that, it doesn't really matter. What's important is that you're working on your own energy, you're cultivating the light that you're learning during this space, because this is a powerful time for humanity, and we're all going to kind of play a big role in all of this, so we wouldn't be kind of coming together and talking about some of the things going on. So, you know, I know that can draw a lot of fear when I talk about some of these topics, like negative extraterrestrials. It's okay. I believe that the energies are just going to do everything that we need on this planet and raise the frequencies, and that any type of, you know, negativity is going to not only be purged out, but be released for good. And we're going to keep going up in frequency and doing this inner work. And this planet is going to turn into like a literal utopia, like, right? Heaven on earth, and like, you know, heal completely again and regenerate in such a way. And the earth is kind of going through its own transformation. So a lot of people have a lot of fear about this quarantine. I think it's going to last longer than they're telling people. I can kind of see patterns with it too, where, you know, maybe we needed to phase out these non-essential things in our life as well, right? That goes with ascension. A lot of people wake up and then suddenly you're just pretty grateful that you're even alive usually, right? And we kind of had to get back to living basic, right? Right, so that everyone can have a quality of life that we should be having. Maybe we could simplify our lives and make things easier and not have that stressed out life of the third dimension where everyone's kind of running around and never satisfied and things like that. So this is going to kind of force people to reset and rethink how they're living too. So I know it can look like really negative for a lot of people. It's meant to push us out of the material and into a more spiritual state. We have some intense energies coming this year too. I think a lot of people are just figuring that out as we're going into 2020, and I've been kind of waiting for people to, we'll say, catch up on a lot of levels to feeling these energies, right? To feeling the energies. A lot of you guys are feeling the energies, like I mentioned, and I said that yesterday, that these are kind of psychic abilities coming online too. And, you know, it doesn't happen overnight that we're kind of growing into these abilities. Some of the things that might have even like made you guys uncomfortable when you were sleeping, like, you know, being around people and not liking their vibe, or making you sick, or making you not feel good, or maybe giving you anxiety around certain people. These are abilities, and these are you sensing energy. And so sometimes when we're going through this expansion in consciousness so fast, and we're getting moved from this third dimensional body to a fifth dimensional one, which is more like a light body, and so we're getting moved out of this physical kind of dense body, and, you know, a lot of people get sick and have issues with it, to a literal light body. And to go through this transformation, it can be pretty intense energetically. So I think people are kind of figuring that out too. So we're kind of like shedding a lot. Yes, we're getting lighter. That doesn't always feel good. But sometimes these are abilities coming online. Some of you guys maybe are like, I'm seeing ascension symptoms kind of going around, and that can be kind of normal, especially when I see, and I have to think about this because I've asked questions. I ask the most fun questions, right? I've asked these questions before, like, okay, how come we're doing ascension and then we get used to being sick? Like, everyone just has ascension flu all the time and isn't feeling good. And when I say ascension flu, I mean like flu-like symptoms, headaches. Some of you guys are feeling like your head's going to explode. There's a lot of energy in your third eye. We have like buzzing in the ears, hearing frequencies, maybe just not feeling good. Sometimes I feel like I can't move, right? I'm feeling extra heavy or extra tired, or I'm not sleeping at night. And these are kind of normal kind of ascension symptoms. But we can also see these could be effects from the energy on very real levels. And these could be also radioactive energies that are, like I keep saying, having that profound of an impact on our DNA. I think it's fascinating because I'm really into, I've been watching some of these Marvel movies, and usually all it takes is cosmic rays and some radiation and they turn into like a mutant superhero. And it's kind of similar to the process that we're going through and going through these energies. And then, I see people also, because I said it's kind of bringing out like the conspiracy theorists, where people who are already on like a 5G kick are like really on a 5G kick. And you guys are giving too much power to these little metal transmitters. This is the actual ascension energies. We're getting moved through space and going through these cosmic rays, like getting blasted with cosmic rays on this planet, and they're powerful and literally mutating us in every way, changing our DNA, changing our blueprints, right? But it's kind of a hard process, like we're seeing on the physical body. That's why all we talk about lately is self-care, taking care of yourselves, drinking more water, taking more vitamins, things like that, right? So we're seeing a lot of these effects. I know mainstream media is telling you this is this and this is one thing and you need to be quarantined and stay away from everyone, and this is from coronavirus and it must have been the Chinese, and the Chinese are saying it must have been America. They're always poisoning everyone. And they're finger pointing and telling you all this stuff on the news, but it doesn't really resonate with me because it's just a lot of what I talk about every day really being amplified on larger levels. When we look at the statistics for these kind of things, they're not that high. I mean, they could just add it onto the regular flu statistics and people wouldn't really know. So I'm not really trusting the third dimensional narrative that I'm being given. It's a little apocalyptic for me, right? As someone learning how to kind of unplug and being encouraged to create kind of my own universe. So during this time, there's a lot of information going around. Take what resonates. I do not resonate with people trying to put the lights out all over Facebook, like the power is going to go out and everything like that. I'm going to touch base on that and what I think is happening, because we are having the mainstream media telling people to prepare them that the lights could go out. Well, I think that they have problems with their networks, that they won't survive these energies, and it's becoming more and more apparent as we have been seeing some blackouts, we'll say, not massive, but we've been seeing them on and off with this ascension and some of these space storm energies. And that's why there's such a panic to try to upgrade things in such a way with more technology, because they know that, we're talking about bursts of solar energy that potentially will take out all technology. It's just a matter of when. And so, there's a lot of the world as we know it relies on the computer, right? On internet, on the computer, things like that. And so, there are forces that are scrambling to try to, we'll say, encounter these issues. But, I think that's what we're kind of getting ready for. One of these solar bursts that will, have such an impact on the entire planet's heart chakra that it would instant awaken anyone, instant expand our consciousness on such a level I doubt we could grasp. And I think we're being prepared for this on every level. Whether you guys are hearing that, because I know on local news they're preparing people for that. And by the way, you guys should be prepared. We might have power outages and things like that. So we see a lot of that kind of going around. But like I said, I'm encouraging you to take what you want for your reality and what works for you, right? So I saw a lot of people were sharing these posts, and then, oh my God, one person who was sharing a 3-day of darkness post, their Facebook page wasn't working, like just their page, and everyone else's was, right? Right? Yeah, like photos not loading, not working. So maybe their power went out or wasn't working, right? So if we focus on something enough, though, we will create it. But why do that? Why focus on negative things we don't want in our life lives. We've been doing that our whole lives, though. It's easy to go to the negative, like this bad might happen, this won't work out, right? Especially anyone with trauma and things like that. It can kind of bring out these things, but I think it's important that we're focusing on the positive, and I know this stuff works because I've put it to the test in my life in so many ways. So for sure, make sure that you guys are creating what you like right now. Make sure that you're still trying to manifest things, you know, setting future goals, things like that. I think it's made it clear that there's a lot of uncertainty on this planet with where we're all kind of headed, and I think that was needed. So stay positive, take care of yourself. My life doesn't look too different, quarantined, but I know a lot of people are going through a big transition. Just kind of pay attention to where you are. All right, I'm going to do some children's spirit animal cards, right? They're real simple. I thought they would be fun, and it's kind of healing for your inner child. All right, and then you guys know that if you do need me, like I said, I'm off of Facebook, but I have been working, obviously, I always work through my website every day. If you guys need me, you can just go to my website. It's a really good time if you guys are quarantined to maybe go take a spiritual class on my site. If you guys have not been attuned to Reiki, it's a good place to start because you guys are really going to be needed in all of this. And, you know, every person on this planet is going to have to get on a healing path. That's what it comes down to. Yeah. Healing ourselves path, right? Whether people choose to heal others, they might heal themselves and become good with this stuff and maybe go help heal other people as well. But we're all going to need to be on a healing path for sure. So we are being given a lot of tools that can help us with these kind of things. Swear, I keep saying this is a good time to be using crystals, Reiki, right? The spiritual tools that you do have, sage, things like that. All right, Emma, elephant. You can overcome any problem. I like to think if you're drawing a certain animal too, you probably have a resonance with this animal. I know that we have animal spirit guides that work with us. Some of these could be animals that you guys connected with in past lives. Yeah, sometimes you guys have pets that have, like, you know, followed you life after life, come with you just as your children would, I swear, right? So, you know, I think we are once again getting back to this connection that we have with the earth and with the animals, which was kind of disconnected in a lot of ways just because of our programming. So for sure you have an elephant guide as well, and you can overcome any problem. This is literally just a storm, and it's just a test. Welcome to Earth School. We're being tested. Things aren't as they seem, though. A lot of you guys are sitting at home safe and cool. And it's right where you should be, but would we have stopped our lives in such a way if we weren't made to? Probably not. So the universe, this omnipresent universe, is really good at putting us where we need to be, right? So remember that as we're going through this transition, we're always right where we should be. All right, Marie Lynn, good morning. You get an eagle. I love it because I'm really into, we'll just say I'm really drawn to a lot of like past stories. And I know the eagle is really symbolic in a lot of cultures. I always think of it as the higher self in some type of things like that. Do the right thing. Yes. Like I said, we're being tested as well. A lot of people are coming together, though. Only when we have these negative experiences do suddenly people want to help. I know, right? Because they'll show you on the news that there's crime and people are, you know, out in the streets and robbing people and all the negative stuff. But they will never show you that people are coming together. And that means the world leaders, too. They might have to come together to it. They might have to share their science or whatever they do, right? So, you know, I know these are negative experiences, but they are meant to enact a positive change. Sometimes the negative things that we experience, either on an individual level or collective level, are meant to be a catalyst of change, right? So we kind of just have to see this as a time of transformation. Oh, I didn't sleep good last night, but I'm used to that, right? It's okay. I'm getting used to no sleep. Right? Let's just say we're still at a K3 index. We were going real high too. And I didn't even get into it. I'll keep doing energy reports. Like I'll try to come back. But so Saturday we have the 4-4 porthole, and that is huge. And the reason why is because we have a super moon, which is Tuesday, and it's in Libra, but it's going to bring us balance. I think it'll bring the whole planet some balance in a really positive way. It's needed, right? Some energetic balance. I I just look at this like a big purge anyway. And that the news, they might be lying. We don't know. We have no idea, right? But I will tell you, if you go turn on the news, you're going to get very different messages than you're going to get from source within, right? So we're getting these lovely angel messages and reassured along our path. And I know when we're listening to some outside sources, they're not as positive as maybe some of the messages we're receiving. So it's important that we are disconnecting from negative outside interference and kind of following our own internal compass, because this is a big time of change. You know what? These moons are powerful, and we have literally, this will be the third super moon to hit this planet in a row, and then we have one more. And I already have been telling you about this, guys, for a while. This is the biggest purge we're going to go through of our ascension. And it kind of reflects, a lot of people are sick in the collective. Forget their labels for a minute. A lot of people are sick, but they are getting better, right? And so I think that, yes, it breaks down your DNA. You get sick, and then you probably mutate and get better, right? And it might be part of this ascension process. I'm not sure. We do see an increase in sickness, though, because these energies are pretty intense. I anticipate after the next two supermoons that the planet will, you know, reset with these next eclipses as well. So we are going through a huge energetic process and transformation this year on an individual and collective level. So it's kind of a lot for a lot of people, and people don't understand. We have a lot of elderly people that are being told, and you guys are probably going to die, right, on the news and all this scary stuff. And they're not understanding what's going on. So we have a lot of fear being fed to the collective, right? And people are kind of like in panic mode, or things are coming up. You know, sometimes these things are needed to purge everyone out. This is a cleansing too. So I know a lot of people had a lot of things like come up, right? A lot of things come up when they're, you know, feeling quarantined or things like that. Just kind of trust where we're at. And this is what's really happening. Turn off your news. You're turning into a butterfly, right? That's the real process. And it's not easy to literally change your DNA and turn into a different organism, but that's where we're headed. And I think that we have this memory of where we're headed to, and our soul is not going to settle for anything other than this ascension and this awakening. Once you awaken and kind of get a taste of this stuff, that's the only thing that will satisfy you. Get ready for some big changes, okay? I don't always know what's going to happen other than the usual ascension timetables, but I know that with the knowledge that I've kind of been picking up, I'm going to be okay, right? Right? I'm going to be okay. It doesn't matter what comes at us. We're going to be okay. Make sure that you guys are, like I said, detoxing and taking care of your energy. I am like getting loud about get some orange juice to everyone coming to me. Maybe get some orange juice. I think that we could talk about, like I said, these energies and what's really happening with the body and the effects, and maybe we need some extra protection such as vitamin C and zinc during this time. And I already knew that because I'm really big on taking vitamins to do this ascension, so things I already kind of knew. But yeah, it's a big transformation, and literally it's your soul leading you home in a big way. All right, Polly, good morning. You get ladybug. I don't know why. I've always been fascinated with these things as like a kid, right? I used to always draw them to me. They're also a really good sign about money usually. All right, notice the little things. Suddenly, your car isn't important, is it? No, I'm just kidding. We'll use that as an example. A lot of people might have thought their nice car that they worked 10 years to pay off was important, but when you're at home quarantined, suddenly your priorities hopefully are changing, and a lot of people are noticing that maybe it doesn't matter the things that I thought were so important, and hopefully this is kind of going to shift people back to that spiritual path now, right? That we've been kind of on this material mindset, and it's really important that we're shifting back to the spiritual, literally. So this is a big kind of change. Literally, you're realizing what is important. Just be grateful for where you are. I keep preparing people that we could lose everything of the material and just be teleported somewhere else with just ourselves, right? Things like that may happen. I mean, I think we're kind of seeing how big of a deal this is, this awakening and this ascension at the least. It's really important that we're letting go of the material just to work on ourselves at this time. All right, Christy, you get a bear. I always love these animals too, right? Literally stand up for yourself. You probably have a bear totem or bear spirit guide. Make sure you're doing what is good for yourself. I don't mean this in a service of self way, but you know, it can take a lot for us to pick ourselves or put ourselves first, because we've been kind of programmed to be light workers, to take care of everyone else. Make sure that you're taking care of your energy first. A lot of you guys have a lot going on with your lessons, so it's really important that you are taking care of your own energy at this time. Kathleen, good morning. You get a coyote. It's so cute. These are for our kids. Kids cards. All right, I'm getting ready for the apocalypse over here, so I needed some kids cards really bad. Kathleen, Coyote, learn from your mistakes. I know, right? We weren't meant to hang on to this stuff forever. We're actually meant to be learning compassion and forgiveness this life. So if we have to do these things with ourselves, it's easy to do it with another, right? So we really need to just let go of these things. The feminine has been through a lot. We'll just say a lot of bad relationships, being held down, oftentimes by the masculine in past lives, oppressed, not able to speak. So the feminine is clearing out a lot with the heart chakra and the throat chakra this life. I saw on a really popular person's page, they said the feminine is not rising, but I assure you it is. That might make the guys really uncomfortable, I know, because they feel that some of that power is being taken back from either masculine systems or the masculine, right? So that could be making a lot of people uncomfortable, but I assure you the feminine is rising and people are noticing it as well. That's why some of these structures are no longer serving us, because we need to get back to a state of compassion, empathy, right? And so a lot of these systems and structures were lacking that, or lacking the feminine influence. So we're trying to find balance within these elements now, this life, especially the feminine. All right, Holistic Spoonie, you get a beaver. Go clean your house. Do your chores. I'm seeing an increase in people buying cleaning products. Spring cleaning on next level. Spring cleaning going on, maybe. I know, we need to do some spring cleaning, literally. Declutter your closets if you have space, dust. I mean, I think you guys should have your house spotless during this time. I think there's kind of a lot going off. And, you know, we're talking about creating heaven on earth. If your space is cluttered, if you have garbage everywhere, right? Junk drawers, just things that needed organizing. I think that we should be organized at this point with our lives. That was one of the first things I thought to do here. Maybe it's time to get organized, right? So just try to get more organized. If your house is perfect, amazing. Really work on decluttering your mind too, right? Spring cleaning, time to take the trash out. Any negative thoughts, any type of clutter in your house, it's a really good time to declutter, swear. You guys should be doing some cleansing. I was like panicking. I know, right? The apocalypse is here. I don't have enough sage. I'll die. I have concern that some of the online businesses might go down next, like Amazon and things like that, and people I've become really kind of dependent on some of these things with the material, right? So for sure, make sure you guys are saging, cleansing your space. It will really help. Get some fresh air in your houses. Barbie and Cougar, you can do it. All right, make sure that you're being positive with yourself, I swear. We need to be really supportive and encouraging to ourselves during this time. You guys have been through a lot. It's really important that you're there for yourselves. Your relationship with yourself is going to be a mirror for every other relationship that we have. So if people are lacking love for themselves, a lot of the times it can be heartbreaking in their relationships where they're feeling not loved, right? Or, you know, feeling like they're not getting enough attention. Make sure that you're giving that attention and love to yourself. The Hemp Mystic. Ooh, I love it. All right, Lizard, dreams. Oh my God, I had a dream last night, and I got a message, but I don't remember it, of course, right? But I was definitely, I had a spirit interaction, so it was really cool. I don't remember the message, unfortunately, because like I said, I wasn't sleeping good last night. But a lot of you guys are having crazy dreams. I was explaining about consciousness this morning, where, you know, this is an awakening on every level. A lot of the times you guys are having really crazy dreams. Some people aren't at all. Some of you guys are having really vivid, crazy dreams. I think that what's going on in your sleep state can be really reflective of what's going on with your third eye too. So when I was asleep, I wouldn't really remember my dreams. And then I started going through this, we'll say, opening of my third eye. And I started to have like I don't know, out-of-body experiences. I was having really crazy dreams and things like that kind of going on in the astral. So as we're working on expanding our third eye, we're going to kind of be able to tune in on other dimensional levels more and more. Pay attention to your dreams. We're being given messages. We're seeing the future, anything that's going to happen, anything that is going to happen for you, making changes, able to connect with other souls, whether they're alive or dead. So you know, it's really a powerful thing to be tuning in either through meditation or dreams. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys too, because I should be telling everyone more, right? I have an event on my Facebook page, and I am doing a live guided meditation on Saturday for the 4-4 porthole or gateway. This is a really powerful time to be healing the collective. So we're going to do individual healing and collective healing. I don't have the link on here, right? You'll have to go find it on my Facebook page for sure. Or go ahead and just message me on Facebook and I can give it to you. You should probably sign up if you like these videos. We're going to do some powerful work. And I love using these gateways, right, to be making better shifts. Well, let me just tell you personally, I feel like I fell down a weird rabbit hole. And I'm not liking the timeline I'm on with apocalypse, coronavirus, 4D, political stuff, and all of this. Like, I feel like literally that everyone just kind of fell back a couple steps, right? And so I think that we could really use this gateway in a powerful way to lend some assistance to the collective in terms of healing and helping shift people to a more positive place on a collective level, which would definitely serve all of us more as well, since we're kind of trying to do this awakening. So for sure, if you guys didn't sign up, I'm going to be doing that on Facebook in a private group via live video. You guys can just sign up and join. I think it's really powerful when we are coming together in these groups, though. All right, Eva Alive. Love it. Dear, be kind to yourself and others. All right, people are going through worse things than you. You have awoken. A lot of times we get slammed around a lot until we do wake up because we are not consciously in control of our reality in such a way, right? Sometimes people get tunnel vision on the material. They're not, we'll say, living in alignment with themselves spiritually. So it's important that we're being nice to everyone, I swear, right? People are stressed out. They're worried about things people know nothing about. A lot of people have lost their jobs and have no longer have money coming in and are worried about just things like bills and rent and what's going on. I think we all know that. Everyone has these great ideas about the government bailing out the planet, but if you guys have ever needed the government in any way, you probably know how these systems already work, and they're not evolving at this point. They're the same third-dimensional systems that tend to screw everyone when they need help. I'm just going to say it. So everyone's looking at the government and expecting them to bail the planet out, and it's not going to be any different than if you needed unemployment in the past and things like that. So I think that a lot of people are suddenly being uprooted from their lives and are under a lot of stress right now. I think a lot of people can feel it in the collective. There's a lot of uncertainty as to if things are going back to normal, when, right? People not really knowing. And so there's a lot of kind of heavy stuff going on with the collective. As light workers, we need to anchor into these higher frequencies, though. That's why for me, I've just unplugged. I'm over here in my little bubble and whatever. So I've been needing to unplug more because it's a lot of kind of posts and things that I don't want in my reality. So, you know, I know Facebook's kind of like television where we're seeing a lot of things. Maybe we don't want these things all in our reality, right? So make sure that you guys are like limiting time online. If you're seeing a lot of negative stuff, unplug, meditate, sage, right? You know, spend time alone as well, because what's really important is that we're staying really high vibe throughout this. So there's always an attempt to lower our vibration and fill us with negative things. You know, we see that every day, nothing different. So it's really important now that we are really vibrating as high as possible and taking care of our own energy, though. All right, Phil Francis, love it. Unicorn. I know, I have to talk about unicorns and rainbows or I won't be allowed to do YouTube videos, right? I said I'm not allowed to talk about anything negative going on in the world, so this is the perfect card for me, right? I'm over here like... All right, Phil, unicorn. Use your imagination. People act like the concept of a unicorn is so far-fetched, but it does look just like a horse with a horn on its head. I will remind you, with magical properties. But we lived during we'll say in higher frequency places where dragons, unicorns, they were in our everyday dimensional reality, and that's where we're headed back to. A lot of people are beginning to see energies, see different things, feel different things. For sure you have a Lemurian connection, and that's where I want to go back to right now. Like when I'm sitting here quarantined, my face, when I'm sitting here quarantined, and I had plans to go to Stonehenge and to go to Glastonbury and bring you guys some good vibes and good energies and to work with the earth and things like that, and I can't do that anymore. And of all the places, when I see like places people want to travel to, I go back to when I was a kid where I was in really, I always say tropical places, right? Really tropical, beautiful places that would have been really, really high frequency and very Lemurian. So for sure, on every level, our soul is pretty much guiding us back to needing nature, needing to be in harmony with it, for sure. All right, high-pitched noises. Again, I think these are frequencies. I think that, first off, if anyone's done psychedelics, let's talk psychedelics, you would see all sorts of crazy stuff around you. I'm sure if you did enough, you might even, you know, feel the earth going up in frequency, vibrating, pulsating. So sometimes we're sensing different things interdimensionally. Sometimes people are hearing tones, noises, just feeling pulsating. My head, it just feels like we're going up in altitude. The past couple days, I had some kind of like, we'll just say a little bit of dizziness in my ears, right? Like if you were flying, things like that. So, you know, I believe we're kind of traveling through untraveled areas of space, right? And attempting something phenomenal, for sure. Just kind of adjust with it. Charlie, love it. Buffalo, ooh, I like it. I always think where you live is maybe these things are around there too, but probably not. But if I was to put the U.S. in a little box in the middle. All right, Buffalo, be thankful for all that you have. Literally, be grateful for what you guys have now, because what if you lose it tomorrow? We do have crazy things happening, I will remind you. And everyone just acts like, you know, I'm just like over here, right, saying stuff. But I think that we're going to have to go through a real shift with the material, and that could happen, literally. I can remind you of some past times when this has happened before. I don't claim to know all of the little events that will bring us there. But for sure, a lot of people would be very disappointed if that were to happen to them now, because a lot of people put their worth on, you know, their life, their house, their kids, their cars, and things like that. But really, we have to get back to, like, within, for sure. All right, just be grateful for where you are. That's where my mind has brought me to that. A lot of people should be very grateful that they're home in their houses. Home in their houses, and they probably have what they need, and they're okay right now. So a lot of people should be very grateful of where this journey, we'll say, is going to bring us. All right, JB. And a lot of people are going to start to feel these energies too. For sure. Like, you know, I know it's kind of just a lot, and a lot of people will begin to feel these energies more. So I think a lot of the collectives kind of catching up, and, you know, it's affecting everyone in different ways. So just because people aren't feeling it or say they're feeling fine doesn't mean that this energy isn't hitting them and affecting their body too. It for sure is. All right, JB, horse, trust your feelings, your own intuition. Like I said, if I turn on the news, it's awful. I've been every morning checking the coronavirus news. I can tell you some fun headlines I'm seeing. So 2 days ago, no, this was 3 days ago, they have, all the coronavirus tests are already infected with coronavirus. So there are some conspiracy theories where they're like, don't take the test, you will die. This is depopulation agenda coming for you. And like all this kind of crazy stuff. But then we see all this kind of crazy stuff coming out in the news. It doesn't look good. It's like, you're going to die. You're going to get sick, right? Right? I'm sure that's what they're telling you. And oh my God. And like, you know, all this negative stuff. But your own internal knowing, you should feel more and more at peace with this awakening. You should feel better, happier. As you're going through each of these shifts, you should feel stronger. That our light body will get stronger. We will be able to handle this better. So I know we're at a sensitive place, because I'm sensitive too. We're at a sensitive place with all this. We will grow into this. We will get stronger and more in our light body and less in the physical. And, you know, this is a, we'll say, process that we're going through. So just for sure, listen to your own messages, your own intuition. All day long, the universe is guiding you. Every thought that you have, every little thing you're seeing, it is just for you. So really pay attention to how you're feeling, your own intuition. All right, Alex Johnson. Love it. Wolf. I'm really into the animal symbolism too. I wore my animal shirt. I'm really, really into animals. I'm learning how to telepathy because I have a cat. And obviously they don't speak English, so I think pets and animals can be really good for practicing telepathy, right? Reading the animals, things like that. Just as we're awakening, so are the animals, I swear. All right, Wolf, you're safe and protected, and you are, and that's why we're home right now. I think that what is really happening, I have good insight. There's a lot happening from different layers and levels, so different people will see different things. But I think that we really could have been put inside because there's concern about where we are in space and what these energies can do. And, you know, I could really see that could happen. That, like, literally, if there were scientists talking about, and maybe if people stayed inside for a few more months, they would be able to handle it and not as many people would die. Right? I could see that. So I think we have a lot of things playing out right now, but just know that we're safe and protected where we are. And sometimes with this ascension, it's a lot of energy and we need that time and space to kind of rest more, right? And to focus on ourselves. So a lot of people are seeing this as a negative thing, watching the news, not seeing this as like a good thing. Right? You've been sent home so that you can activate and upgrade and rest and do your ascension. And we know that we can level up a lot faster too when we are, you know, resting, as they say. So this is meant to be like a positive thing to kind of make everyone stop, but it will take us somewhere different for sure. All right. I love it. These are weird feeds. I'm getting used to them. Holly Holistics. Ooh, hi. Fox, my favorite, right? I don't know why. I really, like I said, I like some of these animal symbolisms. I really like the fox, too. Do secret favors for others. People say, I can't. I'm quarantined. Well, I think that people need online support now more than ever. If you guys are feeling inspired, you could do something like I did. I'm not really good at this stuff either, right? Hi, I'm trying to connect and share love. And that could have a really positive impact on people, as we're seeing from like maybe doing videos. But everything's an energy exchange. You guys are energy exchanging right now using YouTube, using social media. So just for sure, try to stay high vibe around people. Try to spread love-based things, right? We need to kind of set aside the fear-based things, spread love, uplift the frequencies, things you guys are already kind of into. This is meant to inspire us, though, that we're meant to be motivated to want to help at some level, and we're getting the push that we need as we're kind of seeing what's going on in the planet, and we're kind of remembering why we're here. Oh no, it's okay. I think it's all needed too. So don't feel like that too. I think it is all needed with everything too. I think our perspectives are needed too, to reach people on so many levels. All right, Angie, monkey. All right, try something new. I know, right? We can really start some good programs now. I have some books. Maybe I can read them now that I'm Facebook banned, right? In quarantine. So maybe you guys could be like reading books, spending time, you know, doing yoga, meditating, getting back to the simple, cooking better foods. I think that we're going to have to kind of get back to a different lifestyle. I think a lot of you guys are parenting and maybe some of these kids aren't meant to be in school. And that's why we're actually seeing some of these transitions that are happening, because it's going to take us more in alignment with the fifth dimension and how we should be living. So for sure, just stay really focused on where you are, your house, making positive changes. All right, Susan. Yeah, they don't even have tests, right? I'll go there too, right? But I did study a lot of, because this is all very interesting to me, the things that are happening. And I've seen kind of these things before just from the energies of what they can do to our DNA. I do a lot of really weird healing stuff, right? So for sure, it's kind of similar to some of the things that are happening anyway, with this ascension, for sure. So I know they're panicking people, so then maybe people really don't feel good. And then they're like, oh my God, I have coronavirus, right? Don't panic if you don't feel good. That can be expected, that we're going through a big purge on our body. So as we're going up in frequency, you know, a lot's kind of coming to the surface. So for sure, that could be just kind of normal stuff with the energy. All right, Susan, Turtle, take your time. And people need to slow down right now, like I said. We've been kind of used to running around and we should be working harder and working more and things like that. So this is going to kind of slow down the collective too. All right, Renee Gravlin. Raccoon, and it's cute. You have everything you need, and we do. We had to remember that there's people struggling in other countries, and that, you know, we really have been blessed beyond measure, but we took us a while to see that, generally, kind of going through this. And that's why we go through this transformation, so that hopefully we turn into, you know, grateful humble, compassionate, empathic humans, right? And so that's why we go through all this. People get kind of hung up on their past lessons, not understanding it doesn't matter the lesson. You know what, though? Those lessons have more meaning for your ancestors and people who came before you than you. They're not even sometimes your lessons or things that we're coming to clear and deal with and heal on many levels, right? So sometimes people are like, well, why did I get this experience and this lesson? Just know it's part of your soul's mastery, and that we're wrapping up a lot of things here, and it had less to do with the lessons and more to do with who you are today, this person standing before you, because you keep changing, and in a positive way. All right, Amy Harris. Good morning. Hummingbird. Cheer up. Yeah, I know. So for a lot of people, spring is here. Yeah, well, the sun is like, if it was an antiviral, the sun is a huge antiviral, but we could talk about how the sun could be causing these things, right? The energy coming from the sun anyway, or things like that. But it is warming up in a lot of places. This is going to bring some really good energy. It's going to assist as well with this kind of process. All right, if anyone didn't get a card, let me know. Let's see. It's hard to read the comments, right? All right, I'm gonna get off of here on that note, but I'll try to be I'm gonna be live Saturday for our 4/4 global meditation in our little private Facebook group that we have. If you guys sign up, I just send you the link. It's real easy. And then I will be live here on YouTube, I guess, you know, next week, all next week, and then I'll be shifting back to Facebook. But it's good. I needed to kind of come over here anyway and kind of get this going over here. So I'm kind of a little bit all over the place with where I'm going live. But make sure that if you guys didn't, that you subscribe to this channel too, so that you guys can get like updates when I do go live. All right, have a high vibe day. Don't let the news, message of the day, don't let the news scare you. They are looking at this all from a very third dimensional perspective. They don't really see the big picture, right? And so we know that we do have this global awakening that is occurring. We know that it's a hard process on the body, that we're going through this physical transformation, right? And it can be bringing a lot to the surface. Pay attention to your own internal guidance. Go meditate. You're probably feeling peace, like good things are coming, right? Like it's okay, that you're fine and safe where you are. You have everything that you need, that things are being sorted out on your behalf. You have many, we'll say, galactics, right? Light workers, angels, everything working on your behalf. So feel safe, feel protected. Just know that we're going through a big transformation, and this is a space where we work on our energy, because if it was really time, and I say time like as in an ascension kind of way, if it was time, we're not ready. So I think that a lot of people are seeing, oh, maybe I can use this space to maybe learn some new skills, learn some new things, maybe like try out those tarot cards I never used, right? Get into crystals, get into some spiritual books, maybe watch some Gaia TV, right? Get into the spiritual right now. That's going to be what saves everyone, I swear, right? It's not going to be the government and politics and third dimensional kind of things. It is us getting back to the spiritual and anchoring into the spiritual. That's really